Amazing Mini Mario toy. Hurry, buy.
In 2004, Nintendo gave us
Mini Mario toy. It walks, it talks, it says, hurry before they're all sold out. Hurry, buy one, buy them all. Buy them all. Buy them all. Buy them all.
Yeah, that. The Mini Mario toy was first showcased in Mario vs. Donkey Kong. These toys, which retailed in-game for $40, and if you don't believe me, then listen to this. See? Became the main focus of the games within the ensuing series to mixed results. Fast forward to 2015, and Nintendo has now officially made the Mini Mario toy. With some friends, as Amiibo. But instead of walking, talking, and mamma-meing, these toys were made to interact with your video games. These two concepts existed as separate entities for about a year. Then someone at Nintendo came up with an idea. What if we took the games related to the fake Mario toys and combined them with the actual Mario Amiibo toys? The result was Mini Mario and Friends Amiibo Challenge. In this episode of Cartridges and Consoles, we'll dive into this weird anomaly of a Nintendo game that utilized Amiibo in an interesting yet compelling way, but at the same time is a game that definitely could have been a bit better from a general gameplay perspective. Mini Mario and Friends Amiibo Challenge, alongside being a tongue twister of a name, released on April 28, 2016 for the Wii U and 3DS systems as a free-to-download game. Now that being said, the statement free-to-download game comes with an asterisk, as even though the game was free, it required the use of Amiibo to play. I've covered these before in other episodes, but as a refresher, Nintendo's Amiibo are plastic figures with near-field communication readers inside of them that you can use to unlock bonus content in certain games. In addition to bonus content, there were two digital-only games released about a year apart from one another that required Amiibo to play. These were Amiibo Tap, Nintendo's Greatest Bits, where tapping an Amiibo gave you a random retro game demo, and this game. Here, tapping any random Amiibo you have will load in a mini spec toy, allowing you access to the actual game and the levels in it. In a level, once you activate your mini toy, it begins moving on its own, and you must try to bridge gaps with red girders or purple blocks, make your toy move around the map with yellow springs or green pipes, or do a combination of all of these to guide it to the exit. All of this, between activating the toy and moving all of these components, is accomplished by using either the 3DS touchscreen or the Wii U gamepad. However, this is only half the fun, as if you use any of these Mario series Amiibo, which notably exclude Wario and Waluigi, but for some reason include Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong, then your mini toy will get a special power or ability. For example, the Mini Mario toy can wall jump, the Mini DK toy can climb up steep slopes, the Mini Peach toy, don't take that out of context, will float over gaps, etc. It's with these different abilities that you'll be able to obtain Amiibo cards to unlock bonus levels, or reach character-specific exit points that will unlock extra worlds, each of which relate to a specific Mario Amiibo and have their own unique gimmicks. There are a total of 12 levels in the main world that don't require any specific Amiibo, 40 character-exclusive levels, and 11 bonus levels after you've beaten the main game. Now, as for the positive aspects of this game, I do think it's a good thing that they made it so you can play this game even without having a Mario series Amiibo. While yes, you need specific Amiibo to get the most out of the game, if you just want to play the game, then you can use any Amiibo you happen to have. From your expensive Mega Yarn Yoshi to your bargain bin Animal Crossing Amiibo, anything allows you to play as, at minimum, the mini spec toy, and still unlock a decent amount of gameplay. The game even will, to a small degree, alter the layout of the level to guarantee you have a chance of securing the necessary points to meet a minimum goal rank, helping cement the fact this game was made to be played with any Amiibo. In addition, the music is actually pretty good in this game. While all of the themes are just variants of other themes across the Mario vs. Donkey Kong franchise, or are remixes of noticeable themes relating to each of the character-specific Amiibo worlds, they still contribute to a pretty good soundtrack selection that I do feel like goes under the radar a bit. Also, unlike another game I refuse to mention that has Amiibo support, I will say one small positive is once you've scanned your Amiibo to select which mini toy you'll use, you don't need to scan it again. However, obviously, the big drawback of this game is that it does require Amiibo to actually play. This wouldn't be a massive issue if it weren't for the fact that core features were locked behind certain Amiibo. It doesn't help that these core features, which include the character-specific levels and any levels you can unlock with Amiibo cards, make up about 80% of the whole game. Meaning, contrary to what I said, using any Amiibo you have is nowhere close to half the fun, and if you want to play anything outside of the 12 generically themed main levels and one bonus level, you're going to be coughing up some cash. This can be a bit of a problem if you're a die-hard completionist, as there is no logistical way to complete this game without at least something to simulate the necessary Amiibos, some of which are much harder to get than others. This completionist factor is exacerbated by the fact that every main level takes anywhere from 2 to 3 different Amiibo to complete. So ignore what I said about not needing to scan an Amiibo after you've used it, because you actually need all your Amiibo on standby, ready to scan when needed. This would have been easier with a character select screen that only unlocks the specific characters after you've scanned their Amiibo once, but instead you resort to having to continually scan a different Amiibo every time you want to get the collectible necessary for 100%. Okay, now obviously, the game is heavily focused on Amiibo, which explains the title and why 90% of this episode has been about that. But what about the actual game itself? You know, the part where you guide these automatically moving figures that you have barely any control over, minus a small speed boost, to the end of the level by interacting with the environment. Yeah, it's not that great. Now granted, looking at this game as a standalone title, this gameplay mechanic is okay and definitely has its moments. However, this is technically a game in a series. A series that by 2016 already had 4 games, all of which released in the decade prior, and one that released just a year prior, that all operated the exact same way. It's fine enough for a casual gamer or a newcomer to the series that doesn't get bored easily and can sit through 63 levels of this, but even with the new mechanics introduced in each main level and the extra worlds, all of it can feel very monotonous after a while. It doesn't help that in more than one instance, once you've set the path to the exit of the level, there's basically nothing to do except sit back and do nothing until your mini toy finishes the level, minus making the toy speed up as much as possible to get a faster time. I had countless moments while recording all of this where I was able to walk away and do something else while the level just played out, since I knew it was just a matter of waiting for the mini toy to hit the exit before I could move on to the next one. Let it be known when that level started, I was all the way over here. In summary, Mini Mario and Friends Amiibo Challenge can be considered a pretty solid free-to-play game, but its over-reliance on Amiibo is what ruins the experience. While yes, you don't need a specific Amiibo to actually play the game, if you're a die-hard completionist, or heck, want to even get the best possible experience, you're going to be looking for all of the necessary Amiibo to get you through. Even then, this wouldn't be that big of a problem if the gameplay you were using these Amiibo to partake in wasn't easily repetitive and already stretched thin within the 10 years since its introduction. While it is a good game if you're a die-hard Nintendo fan who has all the Amiibo necessary and doesn't get bored easily, I cannot, in good faith, recommend this game to anybody who doesn't fill that very niche field. This game is just not worth your money or your time. Mini Mario and Friends Amiibo Challenge on the Wii U and 3DS gets my rating of 3 cartridges out of 10.